Yeah. Twins pod.
Because inflation. So let me ask you, what do you think? Let's say Trump gets back in office. Can he do anything about inflation?
Whoever is going to be in office is going to be more inflation, but
Right.
they're just going to be less of it than, if you have inflation because the government's spending money on infrastructure, on military spending, or half of the military spending is good, half of it's you don't know where it goes. They just got trillions of dollars missing from the Pentagon. Like, imagine that you're like, I don't know where those $2 trillion went,
Right.
but there's no consequences for it.
No consequence.
I don't know.
Right.
If imagine doing that with your personal finance.
Oh, yeah.
But in any case, I miss Donald Trump every day. But I hope he gets elected.
Right.
But I know I hope he gets elected. If he gets elected, he's still going to do something crazy that pisses me off, and
Right.
it's not in my best interest.
Right.
But I do think he sincerely cares about the country.
Yes, he does.
I think he's good for the long-term future of our country.
Right.
And I think, whatever little annoyance that might come up, that we might have a different thought about something, or, I might not like some specific policy, if the other people get elected, like much higher probability I die in a concentration camp or something.
Right.
Much, truly though.
Yeah.
Right.
Literally.
Yeah.
Right.
So, whatever, I'm willing to tolerate whatever little inconvenience or annoyance might come up. And, I've met the man a couple of times. I think he's a great man overall. I think he cares about the country, and I don't know who would be better for the country than him. I think he's the best leader that we could have right now.
Yeah.
So I support him.
Because of the stock market's crashing, everything's crashing, like worldwide it's crashing, right? They said we're going into a recession and that they're going to cut interest rates by about 50 basis points, I think
Yeah.
they said.
0.5%.
0.5%. Personally, what do you think, from your perspective, what the economy is going to look like 6 months, a year from now as they start to drop interest rates?
Well, when you lower the interest rates, you have more inflation. But that lags. That's a lagging indicator. 9 months later, you'll start seeing that come up. And really, they should have done that. If they would have done that in May,
Waited too long, right?
yeah, in my opinion, yeah. If they would have done that in May, June, then we wouldn't have the current circumstance where the Nikkei, the Tokyo Stock Exchange, was down 13% yesterday.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
The
Stock markets
volatility
around the world
index,
is falling.
This might be a little too nerdy, but like the volatility index was up 180%. Their volatility rate was like triple overnight in the Nikkei. And when I looked at stock futures this morning, the U.S. Volatility index, the VIX, was up 60%. And then through the day, it was floating around 40%. So, yeah, we have a lot of volatility now. We're going to have more. Whoever gets elected, there's going to be more inflation. And and it goes back to, like, if you don't own assets, if you have a savings account instead of infrastructure assets, real estate, at least some silver, gold, something that's going to be at least a natural hedge for inflation, you're in trouble. You're losing money.
Yeah.
I think you're 100% right about that. You're
Yeah,
losing
that's
money.
the biggest thing every American needs to do, regardless of your political affiliations. If you don't have assets, stocks, gold,
Most
real estate,
important thing, real
cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, you're going to get poor by the day.
Yeah, poor and poor.
Yeah, that's a fact. Regarding inflation and whatnot, it's politicians have to do that. It's just that's the state of things now. They're not going to go back to like a gold standard currency. We're not going to go back to something like that. So they've been playing this shell game forever. But yeah, half a year later, inflation's not a bad thing for me. Inflation's not a bad thing.
because we're holding assets.
Yeah.
Makes us richer.
I don't mind at all. Like, I sincerely don't mind at all, because I'm just like, all right, regardless of the price of natural gas, it's going to remain popular. Regardless of the price of like electricity, it's going to remain popular. People are going to prefer to like live in houses instead of on the street somewhere. So I'm going to be good. People that don't own assets, they're not going to be good. And what we said about stocks too. If you have stocks that are income producing, if the stocks are businesses that are that control income producing assets, you're gonna make money. Right. You're gonna be good. So I'm gonna be a beneficiary. When all this crazy inflation happened, when they did all the $7 trillion,
Right.
a normal person don't know how many zeros is in a trillion. So it's 12 zeros, 7 with 12 zeros. They printed in 2020, 2021. I made $42 million in less than 2 years. I added an additional, after taxes, after expense, I added an additional $42 million to my net worth at that time. And It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to be a beneficiary of that.
Right.
But I think a normal person, that's the dangerous part. They don't understand that if you don't have good assets, if you think like, oh, I need to sell stuff and have more cash, I need more liquidity right now. Like, no, you're going the wrong way, man.
I stay away from cash.
I don't want cash, man.
Yeah.
I don't want cash.
It's worthless, really.
I keep a couple $100,000 around, and like just for my business, just spending like to pay the bills and like pay expenses for business, and everything else goes back into the stock market, or real estate.
I want to ask you this question. Black people want reparations for what happened to our ancestors and things like that. They don't really understand the detriment that could have on our economy.
You think inflation is a problem now?
Yeah, how many black people is it in America?
It's around 40 million, I think.
40 million, and I think they're up and down with the number. I've seen some guys see 1 million, 2 million. I was like, come on.
That's how much they want?
Yeah. Do the math on that. I think that's in the quadrillions. I mean, if the government ever paid out reparations, that dollar's worth nothing.
I think it's 120 million of black Americans. Can you look that up real quick, Chris? I think it's 100. I forget.
Yeah.
I forget how many million people in the U.S. I forget.
Yeah, watch this. I'm going to bring
340 million and
340
million people.
Okay.
in America altogether. I think
I believe about 13% have some African heritage.
Exactly.
Something like 40-ish million.
so. I'm going to take 13 million. If you was the president of the United States and you want to stop hearing these black people cry, how much would you give them in reparations?
I'd give them zero.
I mean, but
it's more than 13 million.
It's 13 million blacks.
13% times 340 million gets you back to that 40 something million, I think.
Here we go,
Times 13%.
Okay.
It's 44 million.
It's 42 million. That was in 2022.
Okay, so we got
It's
about
probably less now because they kill all their kids, babies, and abortion. But that's a fucked up joke. But whatever.
So you got 44 million people. Let's just say you're going to pay them 50,000, just 50,000 reparations, right? 50,000.
They ain't gonna take no 50,000.
No, I'm gonna be cheap. I'm gonna give them 50,000. So there, shut up, right? Times 50,000.
Yeah, you got to turn the phone sideways. I was waiting for that part.
What is that? How much is that?
Let me see. Ones, tens, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s.
That's only 2.2 trillion.
2.2 trillion.
And
that's just 50,000.
they want 20 to 40 times that amount is the number you're saying. So, so you're going to add $40 trillion, $80 trillion.
To the deficit. What's the deficit right now? Like
34, 35
Yeah,
trillion.
so you're going to double the deficit's already crazy, right?
Yeah.
You're going to double that?
Yeah.
But see, Democrats are so disingenuous. They bring this conversation to blacks, and that's why they keep voting. They don't realize that this country is actually broke.
Yeah.
It's worse than broke.
Yeah.
As
We're
an-
negative.
Yeah.
They don't know that. They don't know they've been
Used.
Slavery happened forever, man. Slavery happened
To everybody,
all of
too.
written history. In Europe, there's there's half a dozen countries of Bosnia, Herzegovina, Croatia. That whole part of the country, continent over there, is called the Slavic region. That's where slaves came from for 1,500 years through all of Roman and Greek times. It's called the Slavic region because that's where slaves come from.
Wow.
And those are white people.
Yeah.
Right.
And then furthermore, I'm not a historian of slavery, okay?
Right.
But like my understanding that in the United States, a lot of people that were historically slaves here came from Central Africa. So do you think that Caucasian people were pulling up on the coast of Africa? I've been to Africa. I spent about 5 weeks there. Do you think Caucasian people were showing up on the coast at the port, and then they trekked inside, 800 miles, 1,000 miles to go to Congo? Or
They don't realize that.
Yeah. So how did those people get to the coast? Like, the coastal Africans brought the Central Africans to the coast
To the
and
white
sold
people.
them.
Yeah.
And that's life, and that's history.
Yeah.
And that happened everywhere. It happened in the Middle East. This is more than 5,000 years. All the written history that's been happening and before then. So
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
my ancestors were, I'm 25% Native American. My mother was half.
What's your background ethnicity-wise?
I'm half a Jew, and I'm not religious at all, but I'm half a Jew and 25% Native American and 25% some other European stuff.
Yeah, your ancestors, man,
Yeah.
they seen a lot.
Yeah, where's my Jew reparations? Where's my Native American? Where's my Native American reparations?
Right.
I don't want them because what you're saying is right. It's like you just bankrupt the country and the money's not worth anything. So
And I don't think you deserve it, too. That's the most important thing.
I don't think anybody does.
Yeah.
Shitty things happen to everybody's ancestors.
Look, everybody, inflation is out of control, and this problem is only going to get worse.
The value of silver, gold has been steadily rising, while the value of the American dollar has been falling.
Purplebar.com is changing the game, making it easy for all of us to protect our financial futures. The bars are perforated so they can easily break apart and can be conveniently exchanged. Go to purplebar.com and use promo code Hodgetwins and you get 5% off gold bars. And you get 10% off silver bars. Yeah.